So my name's Arel Moodie. My goal with this is to explain how Talkadot solves three really specific problems that I've had in my career as a professional speaker. I've been speaking for the last 17 years. I love the speaking industry. I've been doing this in the college space, in the high school space. I've gone into the corporate space, into the government space, into the nonprofit space. So I've played around in different things, and I've discovered a few problems over my career. And if you've had these problems as well, then this is going to be a really good session. So the first problem, there is one speaking lead that is the highest quality, best speaking lead out of all else. And if you've ever had this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just finished giving a presentation. A whole bunch of people come up to you after your presentation because they want to talk to you. Maybe they want to take pictures with you or whatever it is. And then someone says, "Oh my gosh, Janelle, that was amazing. Here's my card. I want to book you to come speak at my conference." Or they ask you this question, which I always think is the most adorable question. "We have an event coming up. Do you speak at events?" And you're like, "Yeah, you just saw, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm speaking to you right here at this event. This is what I do, baby." But they're always like curious, like, is it like, would it be all right if we book? So if you get that kind of lead, I will bet there is nothing more powerful than that lead. Why? Because they've seen you speak. They know what you are. They know that they have a need. And now you just got to pretty much figure out budget. And as long as they have the budget for you, it's pretty much a done deal. However, this is the big problem. And if you've spoken a little bit, you've probably experienced this. You have that line of people that come up to see you and talk to you. Have you ever had the experience where you were speaking to what I like to call the long talker? The person who doesn't realize that there's a whole line of people behind you that need to talk to you. And they're just like, "Oh my gosh, when I was 15 years old, you reminded me of something that my grandma always said to." And it's wonderful. And you want to be present with them, but you also want to kind of manage like spreading yourself out throughout the whole line. Now, if you've ever had that happen, you've also had this happen. Have you ever been after your talk and people are coming up and talking to you and you see someone get kind of impatient because they're kind of waiting around and they don't want to wait, and so they kind of just walk off, and you kind of want to grab them and be like, "No, don't leave, come back, I want to talk to you." Because the truth is, if we're being honest with ourselves, in a perfect world, everyone who could book us to speak would go to the front of the line. We would grab everyone's card and give, our card and exchange information with the people who want to book us to speak. And then we can talk to everyone else. That would be the ideal setup, right? We want to be present for people. We want to serve people. But since we do this as professionals, we want to be able to leverage one speech into another. So how do we actually find everyone in our audience who wants to book us to speak? If we can leverage that, if we can pull that out of every audience, if we can solve that problem, then we get into what's called momentum. The hardest thing for speakers is, in general, is getting or keeping momentum. It's why our calendars can have such a mercurial nature to them. We have these feast times where it's like we're busy. And then we have these fast times where it's like there's nothing there. But if every time we speak, we can beget another speaking engagement and beget another speaking engagement, then we can start getting momentum. And the more momentum you get, the better. When you have no momentum, it's obviously just a little bit harder to get started. So we're going to solve that problem for you today, okay? The second problem we're going to solve for you is, how do you prove the effectiveness of your presentation? Now, there are two categories of speakers. There's celebrity speakers and there's content experts. I'm a betting man that if all of you are on this session, you're like me and you're a content expert. You're not really a celebrity. If you're a celebrity and you're Oprah, I'm sure Oprah is very wonderful, but it really doesn't matter what Oprah says. As long as she shows up and she speaks, it's a win. But for content experts, our ROI, our content actually is the draw. Can we do a good job on stage? Can we present content that's actually useful? Now, how do we try to prove to people right now that we are experts? I'm willing to bet if I went to any one of your websites, let me guess what I'm going to see. I'm going to see a big picture of you speaking. I'm going to see a video of you doing your speaking thing. I'm going to see pictures of you on stage around the places. I'm going to see some copy about the problems you solve. And you're going to have some testimonials that you've pulled that sound like Arel was the best speaker at our conference. To this day, I've never seen a speaker who was the 17th highest rated speaker at a conference on their website. I've never seen it. It's never happened. It's not going to happen anytime. Because so we're trying to separate ourselves, but we're actually using a lot of the similar techniques. However, there is one thing that people use today to help them make buying decisions that we don't leverage as speakers the way we should, which is reviews. Think about it. If you went to Amazon right now and you wanted to buy anything, right? I always like to point to the microphone because I'm using this microphone. I just bought it, right? Once you decide that you want to buy a microphone, what's the number one thing you look on Amazon to see if you should buy it? Is it a 5-star? Is it a 4-star? I bought this microphone because it had 5,000 5-star reviews. So I go, it's good. I can trust it. I don't have to dig deep. I like to scan through the reviews just to see why did people give it 3 stars? Why did people give it 1 stars? But for the most part, if hundreds, thousands of people give it a 5-star rating, it's really, really good. I feel confident with it. If you were to stay at an Airbnb, what's the number one thing you check once you decide what location you want to stay at? The reviews. What are other people saying? But this is the key. They've got to be third-party impartial views. That's why Trustpilot, Google reviews, Amazon, the reason why that is so valued is because they know that it's not manipulated. Have you ever been to like a website that sells like clothes, and on their website they go, this shirt is 5-star rated? You immediately don't trust it because you're like, it's on your website. You put it on your website. Like if it's a third party, then I can trust it because I know it's not manipulated, right? So the second problem we're going to solve for you today is how do you get that data? How do you get that reviews, but turn it into quantifiable reviews so that you can prove the effectiveness of your speaking engagement so you can get booked, rebooked, and then also referred more easily. So we're going to show you how to solve that problem. And then the third problem we're going to show you how to solve today is what I think is like, if I look at it, it's the most simplest thing. And we as speakers, generally speaking, do this horribly. We don't build our email lists. I want you to think about this for a moment. How many people have you spoken to in your career? How many humans have you impacted? Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands? How many of those people are on your email list? Probably a small percentage, if I was willing to guess, right? Now, if you think about it, if every single time we speak to 30 people, 100 people, 50 people, 500 people, and we can add a large percentage of those people to our email list and then build relationships with them. These are the people that are going to buy our books. These are the people that are going to book us to speak. These are the people that are going to join our coaching programs, our consulting programs, our courses, because they know, like, and trust us. Building your list is one of the most valuable business tools you can have, because if you have a hungry audience that likes you, that knows you, that trusts you, it's not so hard to do all of the things. You know, I know a lot of people when they do launches, like Gary Vee right now, could jump onto his email list, jump onto his social media, make one post and sell millions of dollars worth of stuff, right? Now, I'm not saying that you and I need to be Gary Vee in any shape, form, or fashion, but when you have a group of people that know you, like you, trust you, it's just so much easier to drive the ability to help them, to support them with your products and services. So my goal in this very short amount of time we have here is to solve those 3 major problems for you. And how do we solve those 3 major problems? For those of you who know what Talkadot is, and for those of you who don't, we solve it with this slide. This slide right here, if you throw this in towards the tail end of your presentation, I'll talk about that in a little bit, it will solve all those problems for you.